Good morning in Deadwood, South Dakota. You can tell that's not Deadwood behind me, but my name is Donna Smith. I used to be, many years ago, the editor of the Black Hills Pioneer. Some of you may remember me. Some of you may have received calls from me recently because I'm working in support of re-electing and voting no on the recall of Blake Joseph. You're going to have choices of who to vote for him again. And if you didn't vote for him the first time, send a statement that we do not in South Dakota or in Colorado, where I live now, or in other states in this union, take people out of office or try to take them out of office the day after they have been duly elected. So I am just, or the day after they've been sworn in. I think that was actually the case. So forgive me if I got that history wrong. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history behind me. Larry and I have not stopped having, issues with our health. So we continue to be like many seniors are, living on our benefits, on our Social Security, and a small pension that I have from working with the nurses. But even at that, you've got to know that living in Denver, Colorado is extremely expensive, yet it's close to all the medical things that Larry needs, and sometimes I need now. So anyway, the building behind me used to be it was barracks, and then it was the admin building for Lowry Air Force Base during World War II and beyond. It was built in the 1930s, and without knowledge that World War II was coming as one of the Depression era work projects. So it makes me really proud to live in something that has such a rich history. What you can't see is that up above there's one very tall flagpole that has of course, the United States flag, and then ringing the entire front circular driveway are flags from every one of the 50 states, including South Dakota. I'll try and get a picture sometime. Although they're taking those down as they gentrify the building. It's now been converted after many years to apartment living, and it's a mixed economic use building, meaning that, and Blake Joseph will know this certainly. A mixed economic use just means that there are some people who are paying the market rate, that whatever on the market would pay for an apartment here. And folks, that begins at about $2,000 a month. Those of us who are on what's called a tax credit program, which means we just don't have to pay those extra utilities that get tacked onto our leases on apartments here in Colorado. So that saves us some, and we pay about $1,750 a month for rent for a two-bedroom apartment with two bathrooms. The other beautiful thing out in the flag area, I diverted to the apartments, didn't I? The other beautiful thing in the flag area is I can't get out of the way, and I don't think you could see them in this picture anyway, because it's an old picture. There are the flags from each of the branches of the military, which means so much to me. My son Bradley, as you may remember, some of you, I wrote about him in the Pioneer, served several tours. He also served in Afghanistan most recently in military intelligence and is having a rough time since he's been home. So please, those of you who think about praying for people who have trouble and veterans, please say a prayer or two for my Brad. My father was also a military veteran of World War II in the Army. Bradley was also Army. So I think often about the veterans who served here, who lived here, who walked down the halls here. I sometimes, if there are problems in the building, I get to say, shame on you, management, because Dwight Eisenhower walked these halls, and he did. Across the street, one block over, is the Eisenhower Chapel, which is just stunningly pretty and simple. Well, I was just at a town hall there the other night with Colorado's Attorney General, our state senator, our state representative, and our city council person. Wonderful, wonderful question and answer session. People not all in agreement. Really great to have that in the Eisenhower Chapel. So lots of history steeped in this building. And believe it or not, it's one of the cheapest buildings to live in Denver. Really, truly. Right above me, I don't know if you can even see it, right below that banner that's on the top of the building when this was taken many years ago, is a window in the center. We are on the third floor right there, and our windows are two to the south of that and two to the north of that. So I know you don't have directional on here, but the building, the main part of the building runs north and south, and we're right in the center. So yeah, we look right out at the mountains, and when the sun sets, it's gorgeous. But we couldn't see the northern lights, so I'm going to divert back from Denver to this race in Deadwood. First thing I want to say is the politics of gossip and nasty all over the country needs to stop. Period. If we want to teach our children to be kind, decent, loving human beings, like I hope we all do, like I'm grateful all six of mine are, we must model that as adults. We must model it as adults, period. If we don't, there's no point. And I'll have to tell you, in society right at the moment, people are being kind of rough on each other, right? Everything from being mad on the roads to being, angry at the store because somebody didn't check out properly or somebody was too slow or somebody walked slow, whatever it may be. So that's where I want to start. I am a Christian woman. I know not everybody is, and nobody, and a lot of people don't practice the faith at all. I am Christian. I do believe in the one commandment that Christ left me was to love one another. And gossiping and picking out moments in someone's life to highlight that they might not be proud of. I just have to wonder, what the heck, Deadwood? Come on, come on. Blake is a dedicated community servant. That means something different than a politician. I mean, it is politics, we all know that, but being a community servant is different. And Blake is different, isn't he? He's a lot younger. He's lived in Deadwood and elsewhere, which I think is fine. What a great example as a young man who came home to Deadwood. Beautiful example. In fact, I want to give Blake an idea. He has a great idea about, he said it was pretty complicated. I think it's okay, Blake. I think you're okay with trying to fund students through college if they choose to, not if they choose, if they go through Deadwood schools all 12 years, they get some credit towards their college education. You might work with the universities on that. They would love it. But the other thing I really think you might want to consider is how about helping people defer or pay off student loans if they come back to the area to live, work, and raise their families. Make that part of it. And I think a lot of the young people who end up looking at places to live will say, wow, it was a great place to be raised in Deadwood, and that area was a great place to be raised. That would be great if I could go back and say 250, 300, 500 of my student loan payments every month could be funded if I stay and work in the community I love anyway. I think it'd be a great addition to that plan, Blake. So please think about that because it might really help people come home, whether they work in healthcare, because I saw that Sanford is putting in a huge new health center in Rapid City. How beautiful, how wonderful. The corporations that have the foundations and have the ability to do that, wow, it's wonderful to see them making the investment. But now Deadwood needs to make an investment in itself. Make sure that you re-elect, and I make that clear, re-elect your incumbent, Blake Joseph, on December 2nd. If you haven't cast your ballot yet, do it soon. Do it today. Do it today. It's Friday. Let's get it done. And turn it in. And make this very clear that we're not going to play these kinds of games in Deadwood. Blake has so many good ideas. Just that one is about reinvigorating the community, bringing back young families. the affordability issue of homes has got to be addressed. Really, it does. If you want people to be in your community, just like Denver has to address this, really address it, is you've got to have housing that people can afford to live in without working 3 jobs or 4 jobs or working gigs on the side. People here do a lot of delivery, do a lot of what's called Instacart. I don't know if it's made it up that way yet. Maybe it has, or delivery from Walmart or Target or wherever they shop. So I don't think families should have to do that to pay for a home. We used to get told, didn't we, elderly folks, that a quarter of our income, no more than that, should go for housing because we needed the rest for all the other things. Really? Really? Larry and I would have to take in over $7,000 a month in order to be 4 times our rent here. I promise you, we do not even come close to that. So affordability of housing has to be addressed. So thanks very much for listening to me on this Friday, November the 21st, and vote for Blake. Go do it today. Thank you.